What's up, traders? Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital, coming at you with yet another market recap video. I am joined by my co-host today, Waffles. He's hanging out with me in the office. Check him out. Hey, buddy. Waff, wake up. All right, he doesn't want to wake up, but he's chilling. And today we're going to talk about the price action, the indices. We're going to go under the hood, check out our sectors and style factors. We're going to talk about the new all-time highs in Bitcoin. Oh my gosh. If you've been following the channel, you know that I was orange pilled a couple of months ago on this 50% correction in the crypto assets. And I've been, very deep, pretty recklessly long crypto. So yeah, it's a good day today. Before we jump into all that, quick first disclaimer, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. Last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account to any one of my trades or anyone's trades for that matter, especially Waffles' trades. All right, let's dive in. Indices. So today was a bit of a more choppy day, but the market has literally been on a tear. Like, this is pretty phenomenal. S&P 500 closed up 0.39%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ, our big loser for the day, down 0.13%. Did you sell everything you owned when everyone started tweeting about the poor 20-year Treasury auction? Be honest. Now, I saw that happening. There was a period in the day when the Qs did sell off. They were down about 0.4%. And immediately, that's the problem with Twitter. Now, so there's a lot of people that know a lot of really good stuff on Twitter. But then there's other people that just know enough to be dangerous. And basically all they're really doing is just kind of narrating what's going on during the day. So it's like if the market goes down, oh my gosh, the Qs are down 0.3%. Then it's oh, that failed treasury auction. Meanwhile, they don't even know anything about treasuries or anything. So it's kind of crazy. Same thing I noticed. This is me going on a rant, but same thing if you're on Twitter and you see people talking about stocks. Typically, they're talking about the stocks that are overextended and just had a big move. And everyone wants to talk about the stocks that just had a big move. But typically those are the stocks that you don't really want to be buying. As a trader, you want to be looking for opportunities for stocks that might have a big move. So yeah, I was actually thinking about today, I'm Twitter is horrible. But anyway, NASDAQ QQQ down 0.13%. IWM small caps were our big winner for today. Team up 0.66%. And then we have the Dow Jones coming in second place, up 0.44%. Check out the volatility on these indices. So we're just continuing to get this vol crush that's going on. NASDAQ vol did go up, and that makes sense. The NASDAQ is the most susceptible to rises in interest rates. And basically that's what we've been seeing. The 10-year Treasury future has been in a downtrend. The yields have been in an uptrend. Breadth. We had strong breadth all around. We had the SPY with 78% advancers. We had Dow Jones 73%, IWM looking pretty solid at 67%, and even the NASDAQ QQQ, even though it was negative, it still had strong breadth. So that was one of the things that, I mentioned to Pristine Capital members, hey, NASDAQ's down temporarily, but the breadth never went negative. So that was a little tell that, hey, this isn't all that bad. Finviz heat map, we had Google down 1.02%, Amazon down. And funny enough, when you have just these few stocks that are down, like Nvidia, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, it's pretty tough for the NASDAQ to be green because they have such a big weight. In the S&P 500 and in the NASDAQ, but you can see, I love what's going on. Pretty much every day there's a different group of stocks rallying. Today we had industrials participating, we had financials participating, healthcare, just a lot of these different areas of the market. Sectors. Our blockchain assets have moved into our top slot in terms of sector momentum. Team up 2.13%. We're going to go into what happened in Bitcoin today. And then energy is in second. And we have Chinese technology, KWEB, up 0.93%. I am overweight China and I'm overweight blockchain. Then we have, let's take a look at what else was strong. We had... energy was strong. We had home builders up 1.4%, real estate up 1.49%. And then for some laggards, we had ARCG was down 0.93%. The Genomics Fund, Biotech was down slightly. Couple of red sectors here, but overall pretty good. Style factors. Our growth style factor was down 0.13%. Makes sense given the weakness in the treasury market. But we had cyclicals up 0.94%. And we had, what else? Value was up 0.92%. So this is awesome. Like the other day in our recap videos, like, oh yeah, value is really weak and cyclicals were really weak. Today they took the baton and they were really strong. So in this kind of market, we're getting these really quick rotations, but overall, all of these style factors are trending higher. So yeah, it's a really, strong market right now. Seasonality. This is pretty much where we are. We're at the tail end of October. This is the S&P 500 seasonality. So the market's moved up a lot, but it's really tough to step out in front of the market into the holiday season. Trust me, I've tried it before. It is not saying the market can't go down, like if there's an unknown catalyst, whatever, like the seasonality could go out the window. But trust me, once these fund managers start going on vacation, it's like, oh, Halloween, everyone's at a Halloween party. Oh, Thanksgiving, everyone's using their vacation. Christmas time, everyone's taking off. Like the market just tends to move a lot slower. My market trend model is at a +3. Keep in mind that trends from, that can be a -3 in a really weak market all the way to a +3. So I have no reason to really be like super negative or bearish on the market due to my own process. Take a look here. This is day 2 of our breakout from this monthly value area. And we are extended from that 5-day exponential moving average. So keep in mind, tomorrow, let's say, could we get a pullback to the 5-day EMA? Absolutely. And that would be awesome. It would be a nice retest of this monthly value area. So this is where you have to know, are you a swing trader? Are you a position trader? Are you a day trader? Or are you a long-term investor? If you are a day trader and the market pulls back to that 5-day EMA, that for you is a big move. That's like, okay, you're probably not going to want to be bullish at this moment. But if you're a swing trader, position trader, or long-term investor, if the market pulls back to that 5-day EMA, that's like literally nothing. That is a blip. That is just like, it's literally nothing. So yeah, don't freak out if it's like, market is down 0.05%. It's just not that big of a deal. But yeah, that's the S&P 500. And are we overextended on this hourly chart? Yeah, we definitely are. Check this out. So we're trading above this R1 pivot on the hourly chart. Look how far away we are from this weekly value area. We are so far away from it. So yeah, in terms of taking on incremental risk, and in terms of like where the strongest edge is, do I feel like there's an incredibly strong edge getting long, let's say like S&P 500 calls here? No, I certainly don't. I definitely don't. I think the time to be getting aggressively long was a couple of weeks ago when everyone was super, bearish on the market, but the trend is really good. So yeah, tough to get really negative either. NASDAQ, let's take a look at this one. NASDAQ was the weakest today, and the NASDAQ is in the weakest trend out of all the indices. NASDAQ is pretty much in no man's land here. We're extended from the 5-day, and yeah, we're in the middle of the monthly value area. Russell 2000, boom! Oh yeah, and team, keep in mind, I am going to be doing this for Pristine Capital members. I'm going to be doing a rebalance of our long-term trend portfolio tonight. There's a couple names that I want to sub in there. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I'll be sending an email out tonight. Russell 2000. It's up 0.57% today, team. It was our strongest index. Look at what's going on. So we had the breakout from this monthly value area, rejected. We retested the downward trend line and we passed the test. Then we had a little breakout from this monthly value area, put in a long upper wick. There's just not really that much conviction. There's like this, this little period of consolidation, but this is like a slow motion breakout that no one is paying attention to. I talked about this on Twitter Spaces last night. But yeah, this is one of my top exposures here, the small caps. Because I really think, the seasonality improves in November. We're getting all the signs here that a breakout is in the cards. So for me, one thing I'm going to be working on for the rest of the week is I love the exposures I currently have on. I'm overweight in financials, overweight in the small caps, overweight in China, overweight in cryptocurrency. So to be honest, I can just kind of let what I have ride. One of the big fallacies for most traders, and this is why most traders don't make any money over time, it's because in an uptrending market, you buy stocks or you buy call options every single day of the uptrend. And then when the market starts going down, you're selling those at a loss every day. So you're increasing your net exposure every single day. And in theory, the farther you move along an uptrend and the more extended you get, the more risk there is in the market. So basically you have your highest amount of exposure when there's the most risk. And then as the risk starts to hit, even if it's a little 2 or 3% pullback, you're forced to, okay, now I got to cut all this risk. So you're stopping out of all your trades for losses. And then when the market goes down and say we retest the 50-day moving average, sentiment's bearish, all that stuff, and the risk is actually the lowest of getting long, that's when you have the least amount of exposure on. So that's where most traders make their big mistake. So with the exposures I have on, I'll make little tweaks. But for right now, what's really important to me is if I have losers, get them out quickly. There's no point in having losers in an uptrending market. There's really no point. And just making sure, nourish the trades I have on, watch those. Don't cut out of those early, but, just kind of, this is the point in time where for me, it's keep it cool, keep your composure. Don't go to, shooting for the fences at this point in time. So that's the Russell. And let's take a look on the hourly chart. Yeah, so we're above the weekly value area, but we're not super extended. So it's not like the S&P 500, it's not like the NASDAQ. And let's take a look at our Dow Jones. Can't even call it the dogs of the Dow anymore because these are doing pretty well. All right, Dow Jones, really nice breakout, and we're getting our continuation higher. Dow Jones looks great. And let's take a look here. We'll go to some of my trades for the day real quick. And then we will, all right, real quick, let's actually go to crypto. Boom. Crypto. Bitcoin made a new all-time high. So yeah, shout out to anyone that, was able to maintain their composure when Bitcoin crashed. Either you hodled and didn't sell, or as this thing was starting to make the turn out of the downtrend, maybe you purchased some cryptocurrency. You were like, you know what, I can see the vision behind what's going on here. So yeah, congrats to all of you guys that really nailed it. This for me has been the best trade of my 2021. Getting long these cryptos and really investing a lot of time learning about cryptocurrency while we were in the bear market. This is when I was most, during this period, learning about crypto. I was on crypto spaces almost every single day, listening to people talk about it, read about it, questioning people on the spaces about it. And I really got my acumen up. Now is the time where this is when everyone, I post this tweet, my prediction is now that Bitcoin's about to make a new high, we're going to get so many paper traders that don't have any exposure to it just tweeting about it. So now is when, I have all the crypto I really need. Now it's just DCAing into it. DCAing every 2 weeks, whatever it might be, adding a little bit of exposure. Well, I'm not going out and oh my gosh, now I need to buy Bitcoin or whatever. I think this is really the last viable buy point from a trading perspective as it's making the new high. Or really the last viable buy point, but it is pretty extended here. So yeah, if we get a little retest of the high, a little pullback, that is very welcome. Yeah, definitely a good job if you're in this asset. This has been a great performer, for really the last decade, to be honest. And Ethereum also very close to making those new highs. All right, let's take a look at some of my trades for today. And today, I entered some trades. I would say today I over traded a little bit, but that's okay. Every mistake I made, I just corrected it pretty quickly. So let's take a look at some options trades. Alibaba. This one I talked about in Twitter Spaces. This is one of my top positions. I have the 3 stars here. Alibaba hit my upside target, my initial target, which was the VPOC at 179.26. Take a look. And yeah, so hit the VPOC. And remember, this is a high volume node that's never been revisited once it was created. And keep in mind, when it was created, BABA was in a downtrend. So a lot of investors bought in here. Now that it's revisited that area, some sellers emerged, which is no big deal. Once we hit that level, I was like, all right, this is great. Upside target achieved. So what I did was I diagonalized my naked calls. So I was able to sell the October 22nd, which expires in 2 days, the 185 calls. I collected 81 cents for that. So I reduced my cost base a little bit. And yeah, so now for me, if Alibaba goes sideways the next 2 days, I'm actually going to just keep the premium that I received. And then if it moves up, if it gets to 185 over the next 2 days, that's like, even better. It's just gravy on top. So yeah, Alibaba looking good. I would say that was my best trade for today. Other than that, I went for a day trade in Cloudflare. I currently have a short call spread on in this name. I bought some 167.5 puts in this one for 962. I ended up stopping out about 15 minutes later for 940. So lost 22 cents on this. And this was a very small trade, just a little 1-star trade. So yeah, with Cloudflare, this one is trading at over 100 times sales right now. I have my short call spread expiring in November. Feel very comfortable with that. With this one, I really thought there was the potential for a cascade here. When we were trading below this 5-day EMA, I was looking at the order flow coming into the name. I saw that, hey, dip buyers were coming in. So I was like, you know what, for this day trade, I'm just going to jump out. So that was actually clean process right there. That was actually a good trade. And then I got long some Netflix. October 29th, I got long a lotto position. I just put, I'm comfortable losing this premium. I got long some Netflix calls. Take a look. So Netflix, this one has a history of having really poor reactions to the earnings print. And I saw, hey, Netflix didn't have a bad reaction. We ended up putting in a doji candle overall. So yeah, for this trade, looking to see if Netflix can actually break to the upside and hold this 20-day moving average. This is a lotto trade for October 29th. And one thing I noticed is that a lot of times there's so much options open interest. Everyone's playing the earnings report. They want to see a big move. So a lot of times the market makers pretty much like burn out everyone that was trying to play the earnings. And then once those players are burned down, their premium was crushed, then the stock will actually make the move. So that's why I went out to next week. I was like, I think Netflix could make a move to the upside by next week. We'll see what happens. And then the one trade I took this one really was not so good. This one, Pinterest. So I got long some common shares in this name after the PayPal potential acquisition was announced. And this one had already hit the circuit breaker. And it said, hey, we might purchase Pinterest for $70. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get long Pinterest and see if Pinterest will tag the 70 level. And Pinterest ended up kind of just like moving around a little bit, jostling around. Sellers emerged. And so this one, I was sitting in it for like an hour. And what happened was as soon as I entered, I was down on the trade a few percent, literally within like 60 seconds. And I hate it when that happens. For me, if I'm wrong immediately when I put the trade on, I'm so turned off, I just want to get out of it. So yeah, this one closed out for 61.13. I paid 64.07. And I just said, seller stepped in, better uses of this capital and risk control is key. So as a trader, like, you just never want to be in losing positions. If you cut your losers quick, you're never going to have a problem in your trading. And then one thing I also did, I closed out 33% of my DigitalOcean common shares for $89.84. I had paid 80.03. So I just took a target in DigitalOcean. That's just in case some of these tech names get a little bit weaker. DigitalOcean, this is one of my core equity holdings. I really like this company. Yeah, looking very solid. So yeah, DigitalOcean still looking good, but I'm just noticing a lot of red candles here. And that's why I was like, you know what, let me just take a target for prudence. So yeah, it took a little piece off. That about does it for my trading for today. Yeah, tomorrow there's one name in particular that I'm really watching very closely. And that is, I'm gonna give it to you all. AMD. We talked about this in the market recap video yesterday. Also talked about this in Twitter Spaces. And it's making a nice move to the upside. And it's been consolidating. This is day 2 of consolidation here. Really tight price action. So going back to like what happens on Twitter, just because I was thinking about it, like on a day like today, AMD would not be a stock people talk about on Twitter. And why is that? The stock's only up 0.05%. But in reality, like AMD is where a potential opportunity is. Whereas like some stock that just ripped like 15%, that would be like, you know, what everyone's talking about. So yeah, it's just like really interesting like how that works, but it's really just human psychology. And that's why like being in a trading community of professionals, like we're all professional traders or trying to become professional traders. You know, we're all trying to get better. We're working on our market edges. So it's not really like we don't have to do like the promotion of, you know, what you typically see like out on a public forum. Because I think what most people are trying to do is like, they're trying to make it seem like they were in that trade or like trying to show how much money they're making. But in doing that, they're kind of leading people to like always buy the overbought stocks. So I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but it's just kind of interesting to me. I notice even myself when I scroll Twitter, sometimes I'll be like FOMOing. I'm like, all right, I got to put this away. But yeah, AMD looks really good heading into, you know, this could be a trade that I swing really just into the end of the year. So yeah, I like the way this one's setting up. Let's check out our VigTech options order flow. Yeah, and as always, if you're interested in using VigTech, you know, feel free to use my discount code. It's going to be included in the description to this video. Yeah, this platform, this thing is just so awesome. This thing, it's their entire platform, it's $50. And there's just so much in it. There's the charting, there's the options order flow, there's the dealer gamma levels. And then when you use my code, you get $10 off. Like, that's insane. So that's the reason why I partnered with them, because I'm like, I really love this product. Like, I have no issues telling people to use it because I just really enjoy it myself. All right, let's see our options races. Dun dun dun. IWM is appearing again. Oh my gosh, it just fell off. What the heck? Tesla, of course, always at the top. Pinterest, you know, with that acquisition news makes sense. Huh, CVS. That's interesting. Yeah, and Alibaba again. Let's take a look at our TradeScape. CVS. Whoa. January 2023 calls. January 2022 calls. November. More January. So this looks more like they're going out in time for these. A lot of these are deep in the money. So we're getting some deltas in CVS. What's going on in CVS? Oh, wow. So CVS, this looks really solid because it's in a consolidation zone. When do they report earnings? Maybe they're trading into the earnings print November 3rd. So to be honest, this one could be a good name to trade for a run into the earnings print because it does look like some big players are trying to get exposure here. See, a very interesting Alibaba. We saw a bunch of call buyers coming in today, which is always good. Let's take a look at what else we had. This I thought was very interesting. MicroStrategy. They're already getting ready to just squeeze everyone. 56 million in premium came in. And this is the December calls. More December calls. Look at this 1850 strike. What is going on with that 1850 strike? That's crazy. It's almost like triple of where it's trading at right now. So what I'll tell you is this is the kindling for a gamma squeeze. Because what happens is MicroStrategy is a very low float stock. Has a very high short interest team. Look at this. Short float still 22%. And the share float is only 7.78 million. So what's going to happen is now that there's all these calls on the board, like look at this. So like for instance, the 1850 strike call, the delta on that call is going to be so low. So the dealer, in order to hedge that position, they don't have to buy all that much MicroStrategy. They can buy a little bit, no worries. But if MicroStrategy starts increasing in value, the deltas on those calls are going to go up, which is, you know, that's their gamma risk on those call options. That's where the dealers have to buy more of the stock, and it can create a gamma squeeze. So this is very interesting to me that we're starting to see like a lot of call activity coming in for MicroStrategy. Let's go through maybe one more. IWM, seeing a lot of puts coming through, but also a lot of calls. So IWM typically doesn't really have a lot of option activity. So it's interesting that now investors are starting to participate in this. But yeah, pretty fair fight between the Bulls and the Bears over there. And of course we have pins, we got some riot activity. Novavax, this is interesting too. Mixed bag, but a lot of activity going up. Let's see Novavax. Oh god, I'm not interested in this one. Run! AMD, repeat call buying. A lot of calls going up for November, the 115 strike. Wow, weeklies. The 118 strike for next week for Friday, 10/22. Geez. Yeah, a lot of these are very short term. We do have these going up to January 2022 100 strikes. Those are pretty cool. 95 strikes for January. So yeah, this is day 2 that I'm seeing a lot of call activity in AMD. So this one looking very solid. I'll leave it at that. So that being said, that about does it for this market recap video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone in the Pristine Capital trading community, all of my friends and family that are watching these videos. You know, I really appreciate it. And really just anyone that supports me, supports the channel, and supports trading. So that being said, that about does it for this market recap video. I'll see you all tomorrow.